I'm Courtney Harris, 18 years old, and it all started when they tried to force me into a marriage with a man 20 years older. I refused. Their response: they vowed to ruin me. The night I said no, my mother's voice cut through the dining room. "You'll marry him, or you're nothing to us," she hissed, her eyes cold. My father slammed his fist on the table, the sound echoing like a gavel. I didn't beg or cry. I stood, my hands trembling, and walked out into the freezing Minneapolis night, knowing they'd hunt me down. That was the moment I began planning not just to escape, but to dismantle everything they stood for. They thought they could control me, like they had my whole life. Growing up, I was molded to obey, my every move watched, my future scripted. But I'd been watching too, taking notes, building a way out. When I ran, they didn't just let me go, they unleashed a campaign to destroy me, spreading lies, threatening my safety. But I wasn't alone, with help from someone who saw through their facade. I turned their own game against them. 1 year later, their empire of control was ashes, and I was free. What happened in that year? You'll see how I broke their hold, not just on me, but on others they tried to trap. Stick around, the truth is darker than you think. If you've ever faced family pressure that felt like a cage, share your story in the comments. Let's break the silence together. It started years before that ultimatum, when their control began to squeeze tighter every day in our quiet Minneapolis suburb. My family ran a small food store where appearances meant everything. My father managed the place with an iron fist, always watching for any sign of weakness. My mother enforced the rules at home, turning every meal into a lesson in submission. From age 12, they trained me to be the perfect daughter, the one who'd marry into their business circle without question. I learned to cook silent dinners, fold laundry without a sound, and smile through the lectures about duty. But I saw the cracks. My cousins faced the same pressure, their futures mapped out before they could drive. I fought back in secret. I cut calories, skipped meals when no one looked, keeping my body thin to delay what they called readiness. It bought time. But the aunties whispered, "Is she weak?" Defiant one evening. My mother pulled me aside after dinner. Her grip on my arm was firm. "You're not developing fast enough," she said, her voice low. "We'll fix that." From then on, she monitored every bite, forcing extra portions to shape me into what they wanted. School became my only escape. That's where I met him, a classmate who noticed things others missed. He caught me staring at the clock during lunch, barely eating. "You okay?" he asked one day, sliding into the seat across from me. His concern felt foreign. I shrugged it off at first, but he persisted. Over weeks, we talked in whispers. He shared stories of friends breaking free from strict homes, planting seeds of doubt in my mind. For the first time, I questioned if this was normal. At home, the surveillance ramped up. My father installed apps to track my phone, checking texts and locations. If I was late from school, questions flew. "Who were you with? What did you say?" My mother ramped up the sessions, making me practice conversations for future in-laws. "Stand straighter," she'd snap. "Smile more. You're representing us." The pressure built like a storm. My cousins confided in me during family gatherings. One was already promised to an older partner, her eyes dull with resignation. I started jotting notes, hiding a small book under my mattress with hotline numbers and escape tips I'd overheard. The discovery hit like a slap. One night, my father burst into my room, holding a wrapper from a snack I'd flushed. "You're starving yourself," he accused, his face red. "This rebellion ends now." My mother stood behind him, nodding. We'll make sure you're ready soon. Their eyes held no mercy, only determination to break me. I lay awake that night, heart racing. The trap was closing, but my notes grew, with my classmates' words echoing. I added more details: shelters in downtown Minneapolis, ways to contact help without a trace. The auntie's visits increased, measuring me, discussing timelines. My father mentioned a business friend, hinting at arrangements. The air thickened with expectation. I confided in my classmate during a hurried hallway chat. He listened, then offered his number. If it gets bad, call me. That small act ignited something. No longer just surviving. I was planning resistance, but the walls felt closer every day, their watch unyielding. I knew time was running out.
The signs came suddenly, turning their pressure into a direct command. At 18, my body finally betrayed me. One morning, while getting dressed for school, I noticed the change. My stomach dropped. This was what they'd been waiting for. By evening, the family gathered in the living room. My father paced, his voice sharp. "You're ready now," he declared. "We've arranged it." My mother nodded, her expression satisfied. "Robert Brooks, your father's business partner? He's a good match? Stable, successful." I stared at them, the room spinning. Robert was 38, twice my age almost, with a reputation for control that matched theirs. I knew him from store visits. His eyes lingering too long, I couldn't stay silent. "No," I said, my voice steady despite the fear. "I won't marry him." The air froze. My father's face darkened. "You don't decide," he snapped. "This keeps the family strong." My mother leaned in, her tone cold. "Refuse, and we'll make sure you regret it."
"We'll ruin you, spread the word you're unstable, cut you off completely." Their threats hung heavy, no room for negotiation. Robert arrived that night for dinner, acting like it was settled. He smiled, discussing plans as if I wasn't there. "You'll make a fine wife," he said, his hand brushing my shoulder. I pulled away, heart pounding. The ultimatum sealed it. My father cornered me after. "Marry him tomorrow, or you're out. No home, no support, nothing. We'll destroy whatever life you try to build." His words echoed my worst fears. I nodded, pretending to submit. But inside, plans raced. I'd prepared for this hidden cache, contacts from my notebook. That night, as they slept, I gathered what I needed: a bag with clothes, my phone, the notebook. The house was silent, the cold seeping through the windows. Escape wasn't easy. I slipped to the back door, turning the knob slowly. Outside, the Minneapolis night bit hard. Frost on the ground. Footsteps sounded behind me, my father. Awake somehow. "Stop," he growled. Lunging forward, I bolted, heart in my throat, dodging through the yard. He shouted, alerting my mother. Their voices carried, calling neighbors to help. I ran harder, feet numb from the cold, weaving between houses. They were close, car engines starting, but I'd planned the route, down the alley, to the street where David waited. His car idled, lights off. "Get in," he whispered urgently. I dove inside, and he sped away. Sirens wailed in the distance. No, just my imagination. We drove to the downtown shelter, my breaths short. "They almost caught me," I gasped. David gripped the wheel. "You're safe now. We'll fight back." The city lights blurred as relief mixed with rage. I'd escaped their trap. But the war had just begun. The attacks started almost immediately after my getaway. By morning, my family's posts flooded local social groups in Minneapolis. They called me unstable, delusional, claiming I'd been influenced by outsiders. My father wrote the main one, sharing my photo with a plea for help. "Our daughter needs treatment," he typed. "She's not herself." Comments poured in from neighbors, some sympathetic, others accusing me of betrayal. It stung. But I expected it. At the shelter, Mary Mills, the manager, showed me the screen. "They're flipping the narrative," she said. "We need to document this." The threats escalated fast. A package arrived that afternoon. No sender listed. Inside, old photos of me as a kid, torn and marked with red ink. Traitor. One read, "Come home or regret it." Mary photographed everything before trashing it. "Evidence," she explained. Her voice was steady, but I saw her glance at the doors more often. Chelsea Lowe from CPS called next, warning me, "Your family's filing reports, claiming kidnapping. Stay low." Then came the digital hits. My email filled with spam from unknown accounts, links to articles about runaways who failed. My old social profiles, the ones I'd forgotten to lock, got hacked. Posts appeared in my name, confessing regrets, begging for forgiveness. It was them, twisting my words to make me look weak. I deleted what I could, but the damage spread. Friends from school messaged, confused. "Is this you?" I didn't reply, too shaken. Defensive steps kicked in. Mary connected me to Jasmine Hayes, a local lawyer specializing in family cases. She met us at the shelter that evening, laptop open. "This is harassment," she stated. "We'll build a case. Start with logs of every contact." I nodded, pulling out my notebook. Chelsea joined via call, outlining protective measures, change numbers. She advised, "Use secure apps." The shelter added cameras, locked gates tighter. It felt like fortifying a base. Counter-planning began in earnest. I reviewed the evidence we'd gathered so far, screenshots of posts, the package photos. David texted updates from his end. He'd monitored their online activity, spotting patterns. "They're coordinating with relatives," he wrote. "I have traces." His skills turned the tide. We compiled timelines, linking their actions to potential charges. Jasmine drafted initial filings for a restraining order. Every step built our response. The vandalism struck next. Late night. Alarms blared. Someone had slashed tires on Mary's car in the lot. No note, but the message was clear. "They're getting bolder," Mary muttered. "Calling police." Officers took statements, dusted for prints. Nothing stuck yet. But it fueled us. I confided in Jasmine about my family's business ties. She noted it down. "Leverage," she said. Emotional waves hit hard. Rage at their lies mixed with doubt. What if they convinced everyone, but seeing Mary's resolve, Chelsea's support, pushed me forward? We weren't just defending, we were preparing to strike back. The retaliation tested me, but it also sharpened my focus. Their moves revealed weaknesses. By week's end, our plan solidified. They wanted to break me. Instead, they handed me the tools to fight. Our response grew from those first defenses, turning isolated efforts into a coordinated force. The network started small, but spread quickly through trusted channels in Minneapolis. Jasmine suggested using public library computers for anonymous posts, sharing coded tips in online forums for girls in similar situations. I updated my notebook daily, adding new contacts from Chelsea's CPS list. Within days, messages came in from cousins still trapped. Alicia texted first, her words frantic. "They're pushing me toward a match." She wrote, "Help." I replied with instructions: document everything. Use the hotlines. Rescue operations launched with precision. For Lindsay, we timed it during a family event. Chelsea coordinated with school counselors to pull her out midday. Citing safety concerns, police escorted her to a safe house, her statements matching mine. Alicia came next, sneaking out during a store shift. David drove the getaway, his car hidden nearby, We debriefed at the shelter, her tears mixing with relief. "You saved me," she whispered. But it was the network, the calls, the plans that made it possible. Strategic advantages emerged as we dug deeper. David's hacking went beyond defense. He accessed public records, finding irregularities in my father's business dealings, underreported income tied to family alliances. "This isn't just control," he said, showing me the files. "It's leverage." Jasmine reviewed them, her eyes lighting up. "Tax evasion," she noted. "We can use this." The evidence piled up, linking their threats to broader patterns. Family intimidation peaked with the vandalism. One dawn, we found the shelter's van spray-painted with warnings. "Traitor," it read in bold letters. Mary called authorities immediately, but no fingerprints stuck. It rattled us, but fueled the alliance. Chelsea expedited protective filings for the girls we'd rescued. Jasmine drafted complaints to state boards, questioning my father's business license. The group strengthened through shared purpose. Weekly meets at neutral spots, cafes downtown. Library rooms built trust. Mary handled logistics, securing funds from local orgs. Chelsea navigated bureaucracy, fast-tracking cases. David provided tech edge, setting up encrypted chats. I coordinated the notebook distribution, slipping copies into school backpacks via counselors. Emotional highs and lows surged. Triumph when Lindsay called. Safe and starting therapy. Doubt when anonymous calls harassed the shelter line. But unity held. Seeing Alicia stand taller, sharing her story, reinforced my resolve. We weren't victims anymore. We were a team exposing the truth. By month's end, the Alliance had rescued 3 more girls from similar homes. Their testimonies added weight to our files. David's discoveries revealed a web of arrangements, not just in our family. Jasmine filed the first formal report. The balance shifted. Their retaliation had backfired, handing us the momentum. I felt a quiet power growing, ready to strike deeper. The evidence we'd built led straight to the courtroom, where their secrets would face judgment. Preparation consumed every hour. Jasmine organized our files meticulously, cross-referencing threats with business records David had uncovered. We met daily in her downtown Minneapolis office, spreading documents across the table. Chelsea provided CPS reports on the rescued girls, strengthening our case for systemic abuse. Mary arranged secure transport, ensuring no tales from family watchers. I pored over statements, rehearsing my testimony until the words felt armor. Jasmine coached me. "Stick to facts," she said. "Let their lies crumble under truth." The hearing day arrived sharp and unforgiving. The courthouse loomed, its halls echoing with footsteps. My family packed one side, faces stern, dressed like it was a formal event. My father sat front, arms crossed. My mother avoided my gaze. Robert Brooks lurked in the back, his presence a silent taunt. Jasmine squeezed my hand as we entered. "Show no fear," she whispered. The judge called order, and their lawyer opened strong. "This is a misunderstanding," he claimed. "A rebellious teen twisting family traditions into accusations. They called witnesses, relatives swearing our home was loving. Business associates vouching for my father's character. Cross-examination turned brutal. Jasmine dismantled them. You knew about the arrangement," she pressed an aunt. The woman fidgeted, admitting partial knowledge. Tension built as their story cracked. Then came my turn. I took the stand, voice firm. I described the control, the forced path, the threats to ruin me. The opposing lawyer interrupted. "Isn't this just teen drama?" he sneered. "No," I countered. "It's calculated coercion." Their eyes bored into me, but I held steady. The surprise weapon detonated when Denise Donovan entered. The clerk announced her. Former associate of Robert Brooks, she stated calmly. Gasps rippled through their side. Denise detailed her experience pressured into a similar match young, suffering until she broke free. She presented documents, old emails showing patterns, financial ties linking my father. This isn't isolated, she testified. It's a system. The lawyer objected furiously, but the judge allowed it. Evidence mounted, exposing the web. Victory came swift but hollow. The judge ruled in our favor. Credible threat established, she declared. Permanent protective order granted. No contact, no interference, violations prosecutable. My family stood, fury etched deep. My father pointed. You're dead to us, he mouthed. My mother turned away last, her silence louder than words. The courtroom emptied, their defeat palpable. Emotional aftermath crashed in. Relief flooded me, but isolation stung. Jasmine hugged me outside. You did it, she said. But the win felt Pyrrhic freedom at the cost of final ties. Their disownment was official, broadcast to the community. Criminal charges loomed if they stepped wrong. I walked out taller, the weight lifting. The battle scarred me, but it forged something unbreakable. Their hold shattered, leaving me to rebuild on my terms. 1 year after the courtroom win, my family's world lay in ruins, exactly as I'd planned. The protective order was just the spark. Our network grew relentless, fueled by the evidence we'd gathered. Jasmine pushed forward, filing lawsuits against my father's business, citing fraud from David's findings. State investigators descended on the food store, auditing records that revealed years of underreported income tied to shady deals. By spring, the license was revoked. My father scrambled to save it, but suppliers cut ties. Customers vanished. The store shuttered, its windows boarded up in our quiet Minneapolis suburb. My mother's social standing crumbled next. Neighbors once friendly turned cold after the lawsuits hit local news. Articles didn't name me, but the truth leaked. Families like ours hid control behind tradition. She tried hosting community dinners, but invitations went unanswered. Relatives distanced themselves, unwilling to be linked to the scandal. My cousins, Alicia and Lindsay, now safe, shared their stories with counselors, adding fuel to the fallout. Their parents, my aunts, stopped speaking to my mother, blaming her for the exposure. The family fractured entirely. My father moved to a small apartment across town. His pride broken, my mother stayed in the house, alone. Her calls to me blocked long ago. Robert Brooks faced his own reckoning. Denise's testimony triggered scrutiny of his past, costing him contracts. He left Minneapolis, tail between his legs. The web of their alliances, business and personal, unraveled as more girls spoke out. Our network, now spanning schools and shelters, had rescued 7 others by summer. Each testimony tightened the noose. I built a new life from the ashes. With Jasmine's guidance, I enrolled in community college, studying social work to help others like me. David stayed close, his support unwavering. We met weekly at a downtown cafe, planning network expansions. Chelsea connected us to national organizations, scaling our reach. Mary secured grants, funding safe houses. The notebook evolved into digital guides, shared securely through encrypted apps. Every message from a girl reaching out felt like a victory. Emotionally, I stood firm but not unscathed. Freedom was exhilarating, yet the void of family lingered. I didn't miss their control, but the faces of my cousins, once close, flashed in quiet moments. Alicia sent a letter, thanking me. Lindsay called sometimes, her voice brighter. Those connections kept me grounded. But my parents? I cut them off completely. No calls, no regrets. Their downfall wasn't revenge, it was justice. The community fallout hit hardest. Neighbors whispered about the store's collapse, the lawsuits, the shame. A local forum post from a former friend of my father called it a betrayal of trust. Others agreed, shunning my parents, their reputation, built on appearances, became their cage. My father's temper flared in public once, yelling at a reporter. It only deepened their isolation. By fall, they were shadows in a town that once respected them. My independence solidified. I moved into a small apartment near campus, paid for with part-time work and grants, my days filled with classes, network meetings, and late-night calls with girls needing help. The work was grueling, but purpose drove me. I wasn't just surviving, I was shaping a future. One evening, David showed me a new encrypted site we'd built. Girls from 3 states had joined, sharing stories, finding resources. "Your fight started this," he said. I nodded, a quiet pride settling in. The final blow came in winter. A class action suit, sparked by our evidence, hit my father's former partners. They settled, paying thousands in fines. My parents faced legal fees they couldn't afford, forcing them to sell the house. They split, unable to face each other. The family I knew was gone, scattered, silenced, broken. I felt no joy, only resolve. Their choices led here, not mine. The lesson was clear. Standing up, seeking help, building a network, these were my tools to break free. I learned you don't need family to define you. You define yourself through action, through truth. Minneapolis became my home, not their prison. The girls we saved, the lives we changed, proved it. I walked forward, no longer looking back, carrying a strength they could never take.